Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today's video is very special and it is one that I have looked forward to making for a really long time. I am sharing how my blog and how this YouTube channel came to be. Earlier this year in February, Lizzie and Lace, which is my blog and all of my social media and everything, hit 10 years. So I started my blog over 10 years ago. This is my 10th year. I can't believe it. It is crazy. And last month I hit 10,000 on YouTube, so I thought, all right, let's go ahead and do this. So when it comes to YouTube, I know that 10,000 really isn't a huge number in the grand scheme of things. There's people out there with, you know, so many subscribers, but YouTube has really come to be a labor of love for me, and it has been one of my most beloved platforms, and honestly I've been working so hard on it. I don't know, 10,000 just means so much to me, so thank you first off. And for any of you that read my blog or have been around since its inception, I just want to say thank you so much for believing in me and for encouraging me and motivating me and supporting me. Honestly, it means the world. So my story of how Lizzie and Lace came to be is pretty interesting, and I'm not really sure how long this video is going to be. It's been a while since I've done a heart-to-heart, so yeah, let's go ahead and do it. But before we do that, I do want to share that this video is kindly sponsored by Honeylove. They are one of my favorite sponsors, and I think that you guys will love them too. But I'll get into that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into my story. First off, I just have to say that, did you notice I'm not wearing pink? I'm wearing yellow. So pink is definitely my favorite color, and if you have been around for a while, then, or even not a while, I think it's pretty obvious that you would know that. However, I chose to wear yellow for this special occasion. I'm wearing a ball gown currently, just sitting in my office, but I chose yellow because it's a very special color to me. You know, I've always really loved pink. I've always been a pink girly at heart, but when I was younger, my favorite color was actually yellow. I think that was because of Big Bird. I loved Sesame Street, but yellow just made me so happy, and one of my nicknames in school was Sunshine because I was like so bubbly and happy all the time. And so I don't know, I think there's a little bit of symbolism there. Just seeing how far I've come with my childhood dream and just seeing how it's kind of taken a different route than what I imagined it to. It's almost full circle in a way, and I'm about to cry. It's just really special to me, and you all are very special to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the beginning. So if you didn't know, I am a woman of many skills, and one of those is art. Another is music. By the way, I play pretty much anything with strings, but another one, probably lesser known, is art. I am an artist. For as long as I can remember, I loved to draw. I mean, I would draw anything, but mostly I loved to draw people. So fashion sketches, portraits, just people in general. One of my other huge passions in life was fashion. I've always been drawn to beautiful clothing and accessories, and when I was really young, I would often find myself dressing up with items from my mom's closet, her heels, putting on her lipstick, wearing her dresses. And then as I got older, my great-grandmother would give me some vintage jewelry, a beautiful fur coat, things like that. So I've always been drawn to very feminine fashion, and I'm not really sure why. It's just always been ingrained in me. When I was younger, I would draw on everything, and I would also create little dolls out of paper and give them haircuts and make clothes for them. And at one point, I actually created my own fashion magazine. I glued together a whole bunch of papers. There was probably like 100 papers, and I put like little, you know, things in there. It's very unique. I wonder if I still have it. I hope I do. I would love to see that. But yeah, it was really cool. And then as I got older, I learned how to sew. So I was probably 10 and I learned how to hand sew. And from there, I created little outfits for my Barbies and my Beanie Babies because that was a really big thing, and for myself out of fabric scraps. Wearing something that I created made me feel so accomplished and proud of myself, and I feel like it really helped open the door even more to my creativity. Fashion design has always been my passion, and I knew even before this moment that this is something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I feel like for some people, actually probably the majority of people, they don't really know what they want to do when they grow up. Maybe they have several different careers or different interests, but for me, even though I have a lot of different interests, I always knew what I wanted to be. I always knew that I wanted to be a fashion designer, and honestly, I didn't have a plan B because in my mind, that is what I was going to do with my life. I was going to be in fashion. I don't care how it happened. I just knew that I was going to be there one day. So fast forward to high school. Growing up, we didn't really have a lot of money, especially for school shopping. When you're younger, like school shopping is a big deal. I'm not really sure if it is anymore, but back in the day it was. And we couldn't afford like all the cool clothes. And so I babysat frequently, and I would save up my babysitting money and spend it on clothing. That way I could pick out what I wanted and I could style it in the way that I wanted. At the time, I bought pretty much everything off of clearance racks from discount stores. Some of my favorites were Charlotte Russe and Wet Seal because they had the cheapest clothes. And I can't remember which store it was, but I think it was Charlotte Russe. They had like a $1, $3, and $5 rack. I hope I'm remembering that correctly, but I would get a lot of my items from those racks and spend next to nothing on my clothes. Because of my upbringing, I was always very good with money and was skilled with finding great deals on a very limited budget. Best of all, people would always compliment me on my outfits. They would ask where I got something, and they would ask me to style them, and they would even look forward to my outfits like, what are you gonna wear tomorrow? Oh, I can't wait to see your outfit for, you know, homecoming or whatever. This honestly made me so happy because I wasn't wearing trendy clothing at the time. I couldn't afford what was popular and what all, you know, the popular girls were wearing. So I just wore, number one, what I could afford, and number two, what I was drawn to, the things that made me happy, that I felt like were me. And in a lot of ways, that is still how I look at fashion. I'm not really much of a trend-driven girl. I really just gravitate towards what I love. And if it happens to be trending, then that's great because there's more options available at that time. But I've always been one to wear what I love. And I think that that's because I'm a very authentic person. Everything I do with my heart. And I could honestly never be anyone but myself. But truth be told, it has been hard for me to fit in a lot of times because not only did I dress different, but I was a very different person. I had different interests and just kind of thought differently than a lot of other people that I was around. So some people just made it apparent that I was strange or like different than everyone, but honestly, I'm just one of those people that I just do me. So like I said, throughout all of this, I was always drawing and designing and coming up with new creations, whether that was fashion design or portraits or really anything artistic. I went to college and graduated with my AA, and then after that, I decided that I wanted to transfer to fashion school. I applied to so many different schools, and I actually got into some really amazing, prestigious fashion universities, but I wasn't able to go because I didn't have enough money to move or to pay for the tuition because art schools and fashion schools are notoriously expensive, and I thought that my financial aid would cover it, and it didn't cover all of it. So I actually covered this whole section in another video about when I was scammed by a fashion college. And yeah, if you want to check that out, then I will leave it right here. I will also leave it down in the description box below if you want to hear the rest of my story. But yeah, that is a really good one. So long story short, during this time, it was 2008, so there's like a recession going on. It's hard to find jobs. I moved 4 hours away to attend this school and ended up getting scammed like over $20,000. I lost every single cent that I had and now I had these loans to pay back. So I felt absolutely defeated because I moved up there because I had family up there, so it was a little bit easier of a transition since I was going to be so far from home. And it was a tad bit cheaper than the other colleges, but looking back, I kind of wish I would have went to the other ones, but then also I'm glad I didn't because I don't have any student loans at the moment. I paid them off. And also, I may have not ever met my husband because I actually met him right before I moved away to this school. Yeah, I actually shared our story, so that's in a different video. I'll link that one below too. So anyway, that is where we're at. So I got scammed by a school, ended up moving home. I started applying to more schools and got accepted. I qualified for financial aid and some scholarships, but I had to turn down acceptance to all of the schools because reality hit. I was thinking that I would just be able to drive like 3 hours one way every single day and then 3 hours back home for my classes, and realistically it just wasn't going to work, especially since I still had to have a job. Honestly, I felt really defeated after I was scammed because from the time I graduated high school to when I went to that school, there was probably like a 2 or 3 year period. It was honestly crazy because whenever I was 19, I started living on my own. And then I moved from place to place and literally lived out of a box. I literally had a box with my clothes because I was working like 3-4 jobs at the same time. And it was one of those things where my life felt so chaotic that I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know where I was going to live. I just kept everything boxed up. I got a storage unit to put all of my larger stuff in there, but the things that I needed day to day, I just had in one box. And it was like that for a really long time. At one point, I was even homeless and sleeping in my car. So it was a really tough few years. Still, like thinking back to it, it was pretty terrible. And I can't believe I went through that, but it made me very strong. So going through all of that, then being scammed by a school, losing out on money that I didn't have. I didn't even come from money. So it's like, that was money that I saved up, that I worked hard for. And I can't believe that these schools just get away with that. I'm not okay with that. I felt so defeated, but I wasn't ready to give up on my dream. So I decided to continue my education at the local Cal State, which is a 4-year university. And they didn't have a fashion program, but they did have an art program. So what I did is I ended up creating my own type of program where I majored in art and then minored in marketing, and I took a sculpture class and created dresses out of anything I could find around the house that was cheap or free. So newspaper, screen, like a screen for your screen door, regular paper and spray paint, feathers, like arts and craftsy stuff, toilet paper. I made a whole wedding gown out of toilet paper, and all of these dresses were wearable, like I could wear them. So I became known on the campus as the girl with the paper dresses. So I graduated with my bachelor's degree and I started looking into master's programs because at the time, from what I understood, is that in order to break into the fashion industry, you needed to not only have an education, but ideally go to one of those schools because it's good for networking. And I grew up in a very, very, very small town. And honestly, like, no one really cares about fashion. Even where I live, like, I'm not that far from where I used to live, but no one cares about fashion here. So I decided I wanted to look into a master's program for fashion design, only to find out that there's no financial aid for a master's program. So again, couldn't afford to do that. And at this time, I had already paid off my loans, but I was living on my own, working 3 jobs, and saving up for a wedding. I was super heartbroken because I felt like I had the talent, the skill, the ambition, and the passion to pursue this, but I didn't have the money or the connections. It was at this time that I lost my job that I had had for 3 years. It was a month before our wedding, and we paid for the majority of our wedding, and we had just put a down payment on an apartment. I applied for hundreds of jobs and was told over and over and over that I was now overqualified because I had this degree. And honestly, at this point, I didn't care. I just needed a job. I just needed to make money to pay our bills, and no one would hire me. I was unemployed for 6 months, and it was at this point where I really dove into the world of blogging. I had discovered it the year prior when I was in school, but now I had a little bit more time. I would read these posts from these girls every single day. A lot of them are still hugely successful. Some of the first blogs I came across are Atlantic Pacific, Blair Edie, still love her style. And Julia from Gal Meets Glam, still love her style. There were a few others as well. Also, Lauren Conrad's blog was really huge at this time, so I really loved that. I thought that these girls were so brave and courageous to put themselves out there for the world to see, to put their outfits out there, and I felt like I could get to know them through their writing. Blogging was just starting to take off at this time. I feel like this was kind of when the OG bloggers started coming around. It was like 2012, 2013. I think at this point it was probably 2013, but this was also a very lonely time in my life. I felt like I could really connect to them, complete strangers on the internet, and I felt like I had finally found my tribe, because growing up, I had always felt like the black sheep, like misunderstood, and I don't really know why. Like, I didn't really belong anywhere. And so when I found blogging, I felt like I finally belonged. Like, these are my people. So I decided that I wanted to start a blog too, and it was actually the same name, Lizzie and Lace, but I did not tell anyone. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just posting stuff. I wasn't promoting it, of course, because I was too embarrassed, and I didn't want anyone to find me and make fun of me and like ask, what are you doing? I took terrible mirror photos of outfits with my phone at the time and put them on there, and then I started to see that people were actually reading it, and it freaked me out because I was like, oh my gosh, people are reading my thoughts and they're seeing my pictures. It was the weirdest thing. Like, now it's not so far-fetched, but back then it was this whole new world and not many people were doing it yet, so it was just really strange. My husband ended up coming across it and asked me, what is this Lizzie and Lace thing? And I was so embarrassed. I deleted my blog right then and there out of embarrassment and never spoke a word of it. But in the back of my mind, I always thought about starting again. It was just there, like, do it, do it, do it. But I felt like I needed a little more time to really understand how to start a blog and to know where I was going with it and what I really wanted out of it. So for 2 years, I ignored the thoughts in the back of my mind and just moved on with my life. I was feeling really unfulfilled by my job. There was no spark, no creativity, no passion, no stimulation, nothing. I felt like I was living my days out like a robot, just waking up, going to work, going home, going to sleep, and then doing it all over again. I knew that this was not the path that I wanted for myself, and if I'm being honest, I felt like I was always meant to go out on my own and do my own thing, something that was unique to me. I still had a yearning to start my blog, and after all the roadblocks with my fashion design endeavor, with the scam school and the lack of money, and like, you know, just not really being able to do anything with that, I felt like starting a blog was my last chance to really break into the industry somehow. I just wanted to be in the industry. The initial thought for my blog was that I would be sharing my designs and wearing them and talking about them. And it's funny because it's evolved since then. For 6 months, I researched every waking minute. And then I decided I was ready, and I was so nervous to take that first step. I was so nervous to push publish. I wasn't even in front of anyone. I was behind a computer screen. But I just remember the feeling of people reading my blog before, and it freaked me out because I'm super introverted, but also I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel good enough. I was very insecure and lacked confidence in myself, and I cared a lot about what people thought. I was really nervous about going outside my comfort zone and sharing myself with others. Not only my outfits, but my innermost thoughts. The moment I hit the publish button on my blog, my life changed forever, and honestly, I had no idea how much it would change over the years. I was consistent from the beginning, even though no one really visited my website or looked at my outfits or read my blog, but I kept going because I knew that it had to work out. I knew that I had a passion so deep that it had to work out. There was no other alternative for this. It was so ingrained in me and my heart that I truly felt like it had to work out. That was it. It just had to. And what's even more is that I gave up control. I wouldn't say that I'm like super controlling or anything like that, but I'm controlling with myself. I always thought, oh, by this age I need to be here, and this is the plan. It needs to go this way, and if it goes any other way, then, you know, I failed or whatever. And I would be super hard on myself if anything was less than perfect. I was a perfectionist. I kid you not. And if anything just went, you know, a different direction, I would really get down on myself. And so what is magical about this experience is that I completely opened myself up. And, you know, although my goal was fashion design, and honestly, it still is, I would love to have a line someday. Whenever that happens for me, I still feel like it's gonna happen sometime. Whenever the timing is right for everything. But the magic happened whenever I let go of the control. I don't have to be here at a certain age. I don't have to hit all of these goals in order to do this. Sometimes life just has a funny way of working out, and you have to be along for the ride. And that is probably one of the biggest lessons I have learned in this whole thing, because whenever you are just along for the ride, other doors that you may not have thought of can open for you. Like, I've had so many experiences that I never thought I would have, and that is because I was open to it. Had I been so in control of my life that I thought it needs to be this way, then I would not have gone through all these various doors and had the experiences that I've had that have made me a more well-rounded and grateful person. And honestly, at first, people really didn't know what I was doing. I think a lot of them probably thought I was crazy, like, what is happening? What is this Lizzie-in-lace? And then when I started posting on Instagram, oh my gosh, okay, so Instagram is my largest platform by far. And it's funny because when I started, I was like, this is so lame. Like, I didn't have a personal Instagram or anything, but I was like, I don't want to do this. And now it's my biggest platform and the one that most people follow me on and know me for. So yeah, it's funny how things happen. But I have still been going strong with my blog for 10 years, and it has evolved since then. Hi there! Let's go ahead and take a quick sponsor break. This video is proudly sponsored by Honeylove. I absolutely love Honeylove, and if you watch my videos, then you are no stranger. But if you are unfamiliar with Honeylove, they are mainly a shapewear brand, but they do also have other kinds of products as well. They are most known for their super comfortable shapewear, bras, briefs, pajamas, and other clothing items. I have so many different things from them. I pretty much have something from every single category, and everything has held up really well over the years and is very, very comfortable to wear. Their shapewear and undergarments are comfortable enough to wear for every day if you wanted to, and in fact, I really love to wear them specifically for my outfit reels whenever I'm filming outfits in front of my little like closet area. I'm always wearing their shapewear because I find that it makes my outfits fit so much better, and it just kind of smooths everything out, and it makes me feel really confident in my body and in my outfits. It's also perfect for those times when I'm a little bit bloated and the zipper just won't go up. It'll just kind of cinch me in a little bit, just enough for me to get the zipper up so that I can wear my favorite dresses. And most people tend to wear their shapewear for special occasions like weddings or events like that, but honestly, you can wear it for pretty much anything. And I also do want to share that I do not feel like anyone absolutely needs shapewear. We are beautiful and amazing just the way that we are, but if you do want it, then I highly recommend Honeylove. And if you want to check out my review on specific items or just in general, I highly recommend checking out my blog post. It is super detailed and it goes over pretty much everything that they have. I will leave that linked down in the description box below. I do also have an exclusive 20% off a discount code, so if you are interested in Honeylove, make sure you click the link down in the description box below. Just a note that in order to get that special 20% off discount, you do have to click through the link because it generates a specific code just for you. Thank you so much, Honeylove, for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all of you for supporting the brands that support Lizzie and Lace. Let's get back into the video. A lot of things have changed since I started my blog. You know, of course, there's a lot more influencers these days. I like to call myself an OG because I've been around for a really long time. But I think with TikTok, there was a really big surge in influencers, especially on, you know, TikTok, Instagram, that sort of thing. And as time has gone on, a lot of things have definitely changed in so many ways. So like the way we get content is a lot faster, people's attention spans are shorter, but I still think that there is something so magical and beautiful about the long form content. And honestly, that's my favorite to create. I love creating these videos. I love creating my blog posts. I just think it's so fun, and I feel like it gets you really be more in depth and really connect with all of you, and you guys are my favorite. Anyway, after starting my blog, I did Instagram, Pinterest, and then, you know, years later, TikTok. Even though TikTok is kind of one of those things, I didn't really want to be on there at first because I was like, I can't dance. I don't want to do any TikTok dances. It doesn't really fit my vibe. So, you know, I just share all of my fairy tale things over there too. And then of course, you know, I'm on Facebook. I have my newsletter, which I really love. My newsletter has a free quiz and 3-part style series for all of my feminine fashionistas. So if you want to know what your feminine style is, definitely check that out. I will leave a link down in the description box. Okay, so that brings us to YouTube. So I've been on here for a few years now, and honestly, it has taken me a long time. It has taken me longer to grow this than it did my blog. It has taken me way longer than Instagram. My Instagram grew pretty fast. I mean, now it's like pretty stagnant like most people's, but YouTube has really been a labor of love. And I wanted to start it a long time ago, but like blogging, I was very afraid to put myself out there. So with blogging, I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of people reading my thoughts because all of my posts, they're very authentic. I'm very honest and real and raw in them. I have shared so many different things about my life over there, and you know, not only my triumphs and my excitement about certain things, but my struggles and the things that are just less than ideal. Because something that a lot of people have a misconception of is influencers in general, and I shouldn't say all of them, but me, I think that people see my dresses and they think, oh, her life is wonderful and amazing and incredible. Honestly, I'm just a normal person. And in the community tab, I talked about what's been going on in my life lately. It's been chaotic. The last 6 months have been probably some of the worst of my life. But we are making lemons out of lemonade. We are trying to stay positive and uplifted and encouraged and motivated, and you guys are a big part of that, because honestly, when life gets hard, it can be hard to stay positive. So I'm really grateful for YouTube, especially for that, because out of all of my platforms, you guys are the most engaging, and I just feel such a connection. This is my favorite platform, I have to say. Like, I always have a special place in my heart for my blog because it's the OG, and I just really, really love like writing, which is kind of funny because growing up, like in school, I didn't love writing that much, even though I was a good student. I didn't love it, but now that I can just write about whatever I want, and it's fashion related most of the time, I really like it. But now that I've started YouTube, I think that this is my platform. It's much more time consuming than my other ones, but it is definitely my favorite. So anyway, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. I just feel like I'm all over the place right now. But anyway, so I wanted to start YouTube a long, long time ago, and what held me back was myself. Again, insecure, no confidence, really low self-esteem, thought that, you know, I wasn't very pretty and my body type wasn't ideal, and I didn't really comprehend why other people would care. You know, I'm a really deep thinker, so I kind of go deep in that rabbit hole. It's like, why would anyone care? There's more important things going on in the world, and talking about myself, and especially like fashion and beauty, it can be seen as vain or like, I don't know, you know what I mean? So it's like, why would anyone watch me? And also, like, I'm not good enough. I don't know how to talk on camera. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to do any of this. But like my blog, I've been learning along the way. I didn't know how to take pictures. I didn't know how to code and do all that stuff. It's honestly like always a work in progress. I'm constantly learning all the time. Even stuff with my blog, I am constantly learning new stuff. With YouTube, I'm constantly learning. Like, my videos are not like crazy amazing or, you know, the best quality or anything like that, but they are real, and it does come from an authentic place, and I do use them in a positive way, or at least I hope so. That is my intention. I only hope to inspire and encourage and uplift anyone that watches them and help out in some way. Like, that is my main goal. YouTube has just been one of those things where I've really had to work at it. With a lot of things like my art, that came very naturally to me. Drawing came very naturally. Learning how to sew, like, not on my sewing machine, I'm scared to use it, but like, you know, creating clothes without a pattern and stuff, it came very naturally. Learning how to play guitar, learning how to play piano, learning how to do any of that stuff, I didn't have to work at it. And even in school, like I said, I was a good student. I didn't really have to work at it. But with this stuff, I have had to work at it, especially video. And a lot of it has been in my mind. It's been like, you know, I'm my own worst enemy type of thing, where it's like, you know, why does anyone care, number one? But also, I'm afraid to put myself out there. Now, I don't have a computer and photos and words to hide behind. Now, my face is here. You can hear my voice. You can see what I look like and how I move, and that brings its own sort of thing. Like, you know, maybe not everyone is gonna like it, and I have grown up to be a people pleaser. I wanted to appeal to everyone, but you can't do that, especially with something like YouTube. There's been comments like, oh, your laugh is so annoying, or oh, why does your face look like that? Or like, you say like a lot. So it's just one of those things where you kind of have to get over it, and you can't really think about it too hard and be hard on yourself about stuff like that. But it is one of the most real and raw platforms because you can't really hide a lot of who you are. I mean, maybe some people do, but I don't. So it's just one of those things where I was afraid to put myself out there, and so for a long time I didn't. I put off YouTube for years and then decided, okay, I gotta do it because I want to. I just have this feeling in my heart and my soul that this is where I belong. And no, I'm not good at video. I don't know how to talk on camera. I don't know how to record myself. I don't even have a camera for that. And I don't know how to edit, really. And I just have no idea what I'm doing. And I think that holds a lot of people back. it's just one of those things where you have to jump into it and you learn along the way. And I hope that that inspires some of you that want to start your own channel or want to start your own blog or Instagram or anything like that, or even if it is not social media related. If you have a dream and you're holding yourself back because you feel like you're not good enough, you don't know enough, you still have a lot to learn, just jump in. That is probably my biggest piece of advice. You just have to do it. And I think that that is probably the hardest part for anything, is just getting started. So yes, my blog has completely transformed my entire life, and it continues to do so. And I am so grateful I was led in that direction and that I listened to my intuition. And honestly, I could talk all day about my blog. And if you guys have any questions or want to know anything, feel free to leave a comment below, and maybe I should do like, I don't know, a separate video answering some of your questions if you want. But anyway, so my blog is what started all of this, but YouTube is what really catapulted me and brought me out of my shell. So I wouldn't say catapulted me like as a creator or anything like that, but it has accounted for my growth in so many ways. As a creator and as a person. As a creator, I've become more creative and allowed me to learn new skills. It's also given me more of a challenge, because before I started, I felt a little stagnant, like I needed something new. I needed to learn something new. And so video was the perfect thing for that. It's also helped me grow with my self-confidence and helped me find a new level of self-love and respect for myself. At the same time that I started my channel, I did go through a really big life change that also helped with all of this. But I think that healing through all of that, along with my journey with YouTube and putting myself out there for the world to see, it was like putting the things that I was learning in my personal life to practice. And it helps so much that I have such a beautiful and amazing community. You guys are seriously the best. And you know, it is not about quantity, it's definitely about quality. And I have to say, I have the best subscribers. You guys are always so nice to me. You're so kind. You say the sweetest things, and I just want you to know that it really makes my day. It makes my life, and I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your support and that you guys support me in this endeavor, because let me tell you that the support has not always been there. In fact, more often than not, I have had a lot of unsupportive people. In fact, the closest, well, not the closest, some of the closest people to me have been the most unsupportive. And there have been people that I grew up with that think that what I do is kind of a joke. And I have been made fun of from people that I know, but also from other creators for my style. So it's kind of funny that it's like trending now, but before that, I've always dressed like this. I've always dressed like very princessy and girly and romantic, and it is not a trend for me. It is my style, but other creators would make fun of me for it. And then a lot of other people would try to pick my brain, and you know, of course, I'm nice, so I would get taken advantage of a lot. I would get people advice and, you know, things like that. And then it's like, oh, you don't exist. Oh, you're blocked. Oh, you know, whatever. I'm going to, you know, step all over you and go for what you want and get it instead. So there's been a lot of that, which is a little disheartening. But, you know, it's all lessons learned. And I have found through this that the most supportive and loving people are the ones that I have not even met. It's actually kind of crazy. I also want you to know that I never take your support for granted. And because of you subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, watching my videos, thank you. Because I know they're not the best, but I'm still working on it. But because of that, I am able to live out my fashion dream. The fashion dream that I have been chasing since I was in diapers, pretty much. You don't know how much that means to me. Honestly, it means so much. And especially right now, with everything going on with my husband and I, with our life, we have so much going on, and your support means even more now than it ever has, because you have brought sunshine on the many cloudy days that we have had. You have supported not only my fashion dream, but you are also helping to support all of our other dreams with my husband's new blog and with our joint YouTube channel that we haven't launched yet, but hopefully soon. Honestly, we've had a really, really terrible 6 months, and your words of wisdom and encouragement have helped us get through the days and have re-inspired us and have given both of us a chance to try new things and see what happens. Thank you for that. And thank you for supporting me for all of these years. Honestly, like, I can't stop saying that. It just, my heart is so full. And while I may not have a fashion line yet, I do have all of you, and that means so much more because it's so nice to finally feel like I belong somewhere. So thank you. All right, well, this video is getting really long, and at this point, I don't even know where I'm going with it. So thank you for everything. If you are an OG blog follower, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you are a YouTube subscriber, then thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you follow anywhere else, like, thank you. I just appreciate you all so much. And I really hope that you enjoy the content I create and that you find my videos helpful or inspiring or encouraging or, you know, anything. So yeah, all right, well, if you like this, make sure you leave a big thumbs up below. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you feel inclined. And if you are not currently subscribed, I hope you will consider subscribing. Honestly, it means the world to me, as I just, you know, shared in this entire video. And I would really love to have you as part of the community because we have the best one on YouTube, and I'm not biased or anything. For even more feminine fashion, beauty, and lifestyle content, make sure you check out my blog, lizzieinlace.com, and don't forget to follow along on my pretty pink Instagram at lizzieinlace. I will see you next time. Bye!